Hello everybody, welcome back to Cure for the Common Game. Today we're going to talk about Vannifar in deck number 404. First I want to give a shout out to all my patrons. Thank you all so much. I am working on reworking the patrons and actually having tiers. Here's what I'm thinking so far right now. Since the channel name is Cure for the Common Game, I figured we might have 4 levels: common, uncommon, rare, and mythic. I don't know, it just seems to fit the theme. But anyway, let's get to Prime Speaker Vannifar. Evidently, she replaced Zagana. I don't know what that was all about because I haven't read the story yet. But for 4 mana, we get a 2/4 Elf Ooze Wizard. Boy, if that doesn't check all the boxes, I don't know what does. And we get Birthing Pod as our commander. That's what all that does. Now, the last line is what makes us sad. Activate this ability only anytime you could cast a sorcery. So, yeah, I was trying to find a way around that, but evidently that's why that line's there, so you can't find a way around it. But anyway, it operates pretty close to the way Birthing Pod does. You sack a creature, search for a creature that costs 1 more, and put it into play. Now, when I very first saw this card in the spoiler, the absolute first thing I thought of was Intruder Alarm. Now, I know right now you're thinking to yourself, this is another crazy Vannifar combo deck, because I know everybody's building this deck. But I wanted mine to be a little bit different. I don't think I may have accidentally stumbled into Infinite, but I didn't intentionally set out to do it that way. What I wanted to do with Intruder Alarm was I wanted to go through the entire chain in 1 turn. Now, that Intruder Alarm is not the only thing that I'm running that untaps. Now, I've got the old school favorites of Nature's Chosen and Instill Energy that just lets us untap 1 extra time. That's all they really do. Now, I didn't put a Seedborn Muse or anything in here because we can't use it. We can't use Vannifar on anybody else's turn anyway. So, I just didn't see the need for Seedborn. Well, okay, I always see the need for Seedborn. It's an amazing card, but... Well, anyway, let's get through the color fixing, if we will. Of course, we're going to start off with a Soul Ring, and then the 4 Simic rocks. The Key Rune, the Locket, Signet, and Cluestone. But, that's not all of it. So, first and foremost, we'll start with the creatures. Now, I've got these in chain order, the converted mana cost starting from 1. And the first thing that we're going to play is Birds of Paradise. Well, I say the first thing. If we're lucky, that's the first thing we'll play. But Birds of Paradise, as far as the 1-drops go, I have the Bird, Elvish Mystic, Llanowar Elf, Young Wolf. Now, Undying is a very key ability here because to get to the goal, we're going to go through the creatures before I tell you what I'm doing first. Because Undying, you tap Vannifar, sack the wolf to go get a 2-drop. The wolf comes back with a 1/1 counter on it. So we haven't really lost anything there. We've just gained a 2-drop. And then, of course, we have the Pelt Collector. Because now this may not be... This is the creature that you want to actually stay around while you pot up something else. So, then for 2, we have our 2-drop slot, Strangleroot Geist. This also has Undying, so if we turn the wolf into the Stranglegeist, we still have a wolf, we have a Stranglegeist. Assuming we have the alarm in play, we can trade the Strangleroot for a 3-drop and still have our wolf and our Geist. And now you see where I'm going. We're going to build an army real quick. Elvish Visionary, because there are times when we just need to draw a card. I can totally see that happening. Now, Plax Manta, Plax Manta is good if you draw it. That's fine too. To give your creature, actually, it might be actually better if you draw it and you flash it out there, because about the best you can do with Vannifar is if you know that you're going to do your thing that turn, you can turn your 1-drop into the Plax Manta. Your creatures will gain Shroud on a turn, so well, just the creatures you have then. So at least they won't be able to touch Vannifar that turn. Now, it's going to die as soon as it hits the board because we didn't spend anything for it. So we didn't spend that green. But anyway, we have Primal Druid. When it dies, we get a rapid growth. Coiling Oracle. When it enters the battlefield, you do the land thing. Gyre Sage. Also another good evolved creature mounted up to that green mana. The Broodhatch Nantuko. Now this one is not really something that we're gonna I hate to keep saying pod into, but that's pretty much what it is. That we Vannifar into, that we prime into. Yeah, that sounds good. We're not going to want to prime into this, but it does, it's got morph, and the first couple of times you play this, face down, it's nobody's going to know what it is. But the idea here is to get more than 1 insect token. We want to get at least 2. Ideally, we're going to block something huge and get a bunch, but let's face it, for just value purposes, we just want more than the 1 card we've invested. Now we're on to our 3-drops. Of course, we have our Wood Elf, our Rex Sage, the Wistful Selkie. There's a pretty decent little card drawing chain that we can do as well if we just need to draw some cards. The 2 into the 3, and the Bounding Crassus. Now it enters if something has happened to our alarm or whatnot. We can untap our Vannifar. Pretty much the same thing with the Deceiver Exarch and the Pestermite. Why are they all 3-drops, right? So Stormbound Geist, Undying, 2/2 flyer, so we can go 1 into 2 into 3 so far and still have our entire team that we've sacrificed. We have Yavimaya Elder, which you get 2 lands out of the deal when you sack him. Now we're on to 4-drops. Now, Wonder is a recent addition. That's what we call a last-minute change. I had the artifact that makes golem tokens, but I stumbled across Wonder and I was like, whoa, how did I forget this? Wonder is something you actually want in your graveyard. We're going to have an island, that's not a problem, but to be able to sack Wonder to go get something else and have it in the graveyard and now your entire team flies, seems good. Fathom Mage has evolved and is a little bit of card draw. Clone. Because there are times when we just want to clone something. I mean, somebody's got a Blightsteel, somebody's got a whatever. Sometimes we prime into a clone. Orixmathes is a 4-drop. I got nothing for you. It's cute and I like it. Yeah, it's a 4-mana land. It has... I guess we could prime into it, sacking our 3 to get this, and effectively this is a land. A 2-mana land, so I don't know. We've got Ant Queen. In case we get tons and tons of mana, we can have tons and tons of insects. That's just how that one rolls. We got the Mole Drifter. It's the good 5-drop. That draws us some cards. Acidic Slime and some removal. There. Then we've also got the Naturalist as yet more removal. We have Vorapede to continue our undying chain. Loyal Guardian. Well, you know, there's a real good chance that we're going to have our commander. And at the beginning of combat, your team gets a counter. That seems pretty sweet. Obviously, you can tell I'm kind of leaning into the combat and not so much combo. Brood Monitor. You get 3 Scions out of this deal, going from 5 to 6. You get this. You get 3 tokens. The Archetype of Imagination is another flying failsafe. Really kind of like it because it takes away opposing flying. We have, I think we're moving from 6 to 7 drops now. The Hornet Queen. She brings 4 insects with her with flying and death touch, which 7 mana is a little much for a 2/2, but it does bring a team. And when you prime into it, it's some kind of good, especially to get all those tokens. Then we have Mere Battlesphere. Here again, it creates 4 tokens when it comes into play. Mulgraf Monstrosity. When you prime it away, it exiles itself, and then you return 2 creatures at random from your graveyard to the battlefield. So 2 of those creatures that you had, that you primed away, come back. So that's not bad. Not bad at all. And we got Protean Hulk to just search through your deck and get all the, 1s and 2s, stuff that adds up to 6, and smack them onto the battlefield. Breakfast Hulk. Now we're going to 8 drops. We have Ulamog's Crusher because it's decent. I mean, Annihilator 2, 8/8. Seems pretty good. We have Big Daddy Terastodon. Fucco. These are, that's removal. And in a pinch, if you've got too many lands, I know that sounds weird. If you've got too many lands, you can nuke your own lands and turn them into 3/3 elephants. Making this a 4 creatures in 1 card. I know you're thinking I'm weird, but we'll get there. Verdant Force. It's an 8 drop just because it gives in there, because it gives a Saproling every single upkeep, not just ours. And now we're at 9 drop, which I only have 2. It's Hand of Emrakul, because of the Annihilator 1, and then the Inkwell Leviathan, because that's just a beater right there. And our last creature is Galtha, simply because more than likely we're just going to pay 2 mana for it. It's not something we can prime into because we skipped a level there. Galtha may not stay in the deck. This is what are we going to say? This is an alpha version of the deck. I have obviously not played it yet, but I feel like I'm maybe just a shade on the creature light side on some of the drops, and maybe I want to go all the way up. I don't know that I want to go all the way up to Blightsteel, but maybe. So let's look at the shenanigans. So here's what obviously with all those creatures and the combat centric, we're going to have an overrun. That's just part of it. Eldritch Evolution, kind of a redundant effect. Yeah, it's a 1-shot, but it actually gets to skip a level. X is 2 plus the sacrifice creature. I've got a Simic Ascendancy because, why not? We got some counters going. Now, check this magic out. Almost all those creatures that we saw had either comes into play or leaves play abilities. Right? Prime out a Muldrifter and put a Blade of Selves on it. That's beautiful. Or a Terastodon. Or, oh my gosh, it keeps getting better. let's look at Gutter Grind. Whenever a non-token creature you control dies, i.e. gets primed, put a slime counter on this, and then put an ooze token on the battlefield with this creature's power times equal number of slime counters on it. That's pretty neat. Just an enchantment that is just going to keep making ooze tokens the more we do what we're trying to do. Speaking of tokens, we had several kinds of tokens in the deck. Of course, we had the Eldrazi, and we had the ooze, and you know, let's double up our tokens. Creeping Renaissance is going to get all those creatures from the yard back to our hand. It's not into play, but it's not a perfect world. This is not black, so we're doing the best we can. Primal Rage is, of course, going to give our team trample. Are you ready for it? Should I do it now or should I wait till the end? Let's do it now. Epic Struggle. This is our alt win condition because sometimes combat just doesn't work, you know. And this is the reason why I was wanting her ability to be able to be used at instant speed, but you can't, because I was wanting to do all that at the end of my opponent's right before me's turn, and then just Epic Struggle. I was going to run an Ore so I could just instant Epic Struggle, and I looked up the wording on Ore. It doesn't work like I want it to with Vannifar. So anyway, we're just going to do it the old-fashioned way. We're going to throw everything out on our turn and hope nobody can deal with it. And if they do try to deal with it, we've got a little bit of counter magic, not a lot. Of course, we are running Negate, Arcane Denial, and Void Slime. Little bit of removal and Naturalize and Rapid Hybridization. I didn't put a whole lot in there because we have a lot of those effects stapled onto creatures. So that's why we're a little light there. Now I guess we got non-basic lands. Of course, we have all of the two-color lands that you would expect. Anything with the word Simic in it. And then an Evolving Wilds, a Desert of the Mindful, and our last card is, of course, Rogue's Passage. Because, you know, sometimes you just got to get in there. Well, that's what I've got for Vannifar. It is probably, I don't even know that it's 75-ish, 75%. It may be 50%-ish, but I kind of like the combat aspect of it. It's something that not a lot of people are going to see coming through. I feel like they're going to hold off whatever their reaction is for the combo. And really the combo is just to get a lot of creatures. And that's, you know, pretty much what this one does. I didn't want a CDH kind of, because, you know, that ain't me. But I do appreciate y'all watching. And thank y'all so much for helping me get the audio back online, back where it needs to be. Couldn't have done it without you. But I think right now, it is time to shuffle and cut.